I've not really been in the mood for the garden this year, but nevertheless it's come away under its own steam. These are the calendulas. Dehead them when necessary, and they come back again. These are some bonny geraniums, lovely colours. I can't remember the name of this one. It's a funny, it begins with I can't remember it. Always evades me, but it's, the butterflies absolutely adore it, and the bees and the wasps and the moths at night time, and insects. Same with the Michaelmas daisies here. Look at these beautiful flowers. I take them down the graveside. I've got 3 or 4 graves I visit once a month, and so I'll probably pop down with them. Usually the first Sunday in the month I go down, but I might go down tomorrow. Yeah. So as I say, it's normally in my garden I usually have these all staked up, but so I'm going to let, just not had any motivation this summer for doing these things. And yeah, I kind of let things, I better get this watered actually, but yeah, I've let things go a wee bit this year. There's too many things happening. But, yeah, it's a good display. Oh, there's a camera up there. All the way through. I used to grow lots of poppies as well, but the poppies didn't last very long. One breeze and they're all gone. In fact, I think there's a bee called I can't remember the exact term, it's a cutting bee or something. But they use flower petals and leaves for their nest, for their hive. And they cut it in a exact circle. It's quite extraordinary. The sun's gone away just as I've got my camera out, but give me a chance to show you some of the height. These are about 95 centimetres, almost a metre high. And it's a good show. They've lasted well this year actually. They normally come out at the start of Wimbledon for some strange reason. I don't think they're tennis fans, I'm not. But they've lasted pretty well. I think despite all the hot weather and the dry weather, they've kept themselves pretty good. So they'll start to go back, so I think it's worth coming out just today. Look at the ants, the insects all. That's why you should always grow flowers, because you'll always have a bountiful variety of insects in your garden. Got the wee, I had a bee's hive at the old nesting box at the back door. It was under scrutiny by different varieties of birds again this year. I've had blue tits and sparrows and whatnot in there, cold tits. But this year the bees decided, nope, we're taking it. So they were a bit mischievous sometimes when I was out doing some potting up of my plants and stuff, but on the whole, it didn't bother me, and I didn't bother them. But they've gone. The queen decides to make where it's going to have its home, and then once they've, I think the bees actually kill the queen bee before they depart the nest. I think that's the story. I think there's some truth in that. They kill the queen, and then they all leave. Seems a bit, well, seems to be a bit brutal to do that to the person that's set up home for you, but I suppose nature's quite cruel as well at times. Blue flowers are quite rare in nature. and I've forgotten the name of this one here. Begins with a C. I've completely forgotten it, just as got the camera on it. And these ones are Sweet William. They don't do very well once the other plants come up. But I've had these for 3 years. They've done quite well. But I've watered them in and stuff. But the dry weather, the heat got to these ones, I'm afraid. As I say, I normally tend my garden quite well and quite regularly, but the motivation went this year. And I've had a lot of difficulty getting my motivation, apart from holding my camera. Hello. Yeah, it's I just thought I'd like to see some of the flowers, eh? Certainly not. Well, the show of the flowers is spectacular, but the garden is not as good as what I had it last year, or at least the year before. But it's certainly a lot better than it was in 2017. We had scaffolding right around the property which was meant to be for 2 weeks, and it ended up there for 2 months. And the garden never came back to its former glory that I had. And this is what do you call it? Oh, my memory today, it's just bad. Yeah, Herb Robert. This is a herb. It's called Herb Robert, but it smells to high heaven. You'd put you off eating it, but it's highly nutritious. Got a lot of benefits there. And I've mentioned recently that this is self-heal. So they're going to seed. They've all been flowering purple for quite a while. And this willow is this willow here is very invasive. I wished I'd never planted it. It just goes everywhere. So yeah, I can't get into the garden to do any cutting back of the hedges and these expanding roses and the hazel that I planted in there 10 years ago. There's a kind of a screen from the traffic. So I can't get in because all the plants are in bloom. I normally have them all staked up. I think I just mentioned that. But they're not staked this year. They're just doing their own thing as nature would do. So it's certainly got that cottage garden feel to it. But as I say, once these daisies start to turn over, the garden will look a bit. It looks slightly shabby, and there won't be much colour for the autumn, I'm afraid, this year. But if I leave the foliage, it will start to turn all different hues of yellow and brown. And when the first frosts hit, I'll cut back everything down to ground level. There's a lot of work involved, so hopefully my energy levels will be back to something more suitable for garden. They're going to have to be, because we've got a load of firewood coming, and I've got a lot of cutting back in the back garden as well. So it's just the annual job that everybody's got to undertake. If they've got a garden, they've got to keep on top of it. Otherwise, the garden takes control. Plenty of strawberries down in the pathway there. I don't eat them. I've got some strawberries in some troughs at the back, but I generally leave that for the mice. So there we go. Little view of my front garden. Yeah, it's definitely needing some work.